All right, today we're going to talk about some arm wrestling theory. This is a theory that I have that I think a lot of you guys are going to agree with me on, and I think it was demonstrated very well in this little practice footage we have here between Devin Larratt and ERMES Gasparini. Now, I think that this is generally demonstrated in the super heavyweight category, and the idea is basically that hooking is becoming irrelevant in this category. Now, I think in a lot of the lighter weight categories, hooking still really has its place. The ability to set the hook is definitely there. It's definitely something that seems to be feasible, something you could do if you're strong enough. But I think in the super heavyweight category, in the top 5 and maybe even the top 10 or beyond, I don't think that there is anyone who's going to be able to hook these guys. And what we see here that's very interesting, in this sparring footage, we see basically Devin and ERMES taking turns trying to hook each other, and it is to no avail. But not only are they trying to hook each other, but they get a ridiculously carved in, as deep as you could possibly get grip, starting in a hook, and then they try to roll out from there. Normally in arm wrestling, once you get in a hook, there's no way you're ever going to dig yourself back out. So this is a huge advantage for the person trying to hook. And keep in mind that this is a tired ERMES. And looking at this, we see Devin in this super deep hook position, and ERMES can just roll out very easily. You can see ERMES' face here. He is not struggling very much to do this, even from a completely supinated position, having to actively pronate as if he was doing some sort of pronation curl. So definitely not his strongest movements. And if they were starting straight, if they were starting with a more shallow grip, the idea that Devin would hook ERMES from a fair grip is just completely out of reach, as he's unable to do so here. Now, Devin gets an even more dominating hook grip. He's completely over the top of ERMES, completely chopping down on him. It seems like it would be just about impossible to roll out from something like this. But as we see once again, ERMES without much of a struggle, and you can see it on his face from that completely ugly supinated position, just rolls right out into Devin's fingertips, and he can't really do much of anything here. Now, I think eventually we are going to see ERMES kind of start to get a little bit more turned inside and a little bit more stretched out, as he is getting burnt out. But in general, I think that the point is made. These super heavyweight guys trying to hook each other, obviously Devin isn't a hook puller, but biomechanically, in terms of his leverages, his ability to hook is very good because he can follow people with that super long arm. And then we're going to see these guys switch roles here. ERMES now with this super deep, super carved in grip. Again, you would never be able to get a start like this, being so far around the back of your opponent's hand, pushing past them, chopping down on their arm. But we're going to see from here that even ERMES shooting forward from this ridiculous position where Devin is completely supinated, Devin without too much trouble is able to roll out onto ERMES' fingertips. Now, Devin is always shaking pretty much when he's exerting any energy, but his angle stays pretty much the same. And for Devin, if his angle is not opening, he's probably not that close to his max efforts. And I think maybe we see one more of these where ERMES is really going to get super carved in here, super deep grip. He initiates, he chops down onto Devin's forearm. Great hooking angle, but still, Devin can just slowly roll out onto ERMES Gasparini's fingertips. So I think this is super interesting. ERMES has a very, very strong cup. He is certainly not weak in regard to finger flexion and wrist flexion. He has some insanely impressive numbers. But even from this super deep hook position, he's unable to contain Devin Larratt. And Devin, maybe he doesn't have quite as strong of a cup, but because of his leverage advantage, he's able to get this ridiculous over-the-top position. And even still, ERMES can roll out so easily. So I think that this little practice footage here did a pretty good job of showcasing the imbalance in the super heavyweight category between top rolling and hooking. I think that there's a reason we don't really see any super heavyweight hook pullers right now that are top 10 because of their hook. A lot of these guys have a hook as a secondary move, but they're not going to open in a hook. Even when we watch something like Levon Saganishvili versus Devin Larratt, we saw that Levon ultimately defeated Devin pretty comfortably. But in round one, when he tried to just contain Devon, tried to just cup him in, it looks like he probably couldn't do that. And it seems like Levon is at least a level or two above Devon. It didn't look like there was anything Devon could do to win that match. But even so, when we see Levon try to contain Devon, the match instantly became so much closer. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects the lighter weight classes as time goes on. I think some people have the theory that maybe the reason the top roll seems to be so dominant in the heavier weight classes is because people's hands are a lot thicker in those classes. Some other people would say maybe it's because it's easier to have a really strong hand and wrist at a lighter weights, but in order to pack on all this mass in your back and in your biceps, you're going to end up being heavier in order to generate all that back pressure. So maybe that's why we see the top roll being dominant in the heavier weight classes. But overall, I would make the case that the top roll in general is simply a better move. I think that that's the reason that we see it being more dominant in arm wrestling with the very best guys that we have. They're pretty much all top rollers. And if you take Devon, ERMES, Levon, Vitaly, maybe even people like Alex Krdecha right-handed, all the top guys, I don't think that there's a single person right now who is going to force any of those people into a hook right-handed. Maybe it would be a little bit closer with someone like Alex, but I would say at least the top five. I think that they're all completely unhookable, and I don't even think it's close. But let me know what you guys think about this. I do think that top roll overall is for smart people. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.